Kia ora Giants fans, and welcome to another episode of G.I.Antics, the official podcast of the NBS Nelson Giants. Hugh Baden here, as is Philip Charles George Jones. Hi Phil.
I'm good, Hugh.
Have you recovered?
Getting there slowly. A few early mornings, a couple of late nights over the weekend, so yeah, getting there slowly.
Big weekend at the Tasman Cup, which we shall talk about. Some early mornings watching under 17 basketball, again, which we'll talk about. And a championship to celebrate with these two lads, Aston Inwood, Nick Davidson. How are you, lads?
Good. Yeah, Good, mate. Thanks for having us.
Congratulations, inaugural Sky Broadband Rapid League champions 2024. Shine taken off it by a loss to the Sharks afterwards.
Well, yeah.
The lads won the Rapid League, right? Lock that in. That was the win on Sunday night, in which Aston in particular had a phenomenal performance. Potentially, Nick, Phil, Sky Broadband Rapid League performance of the year?
Definitely. 100%.
Was it 22 points, 8 rebounds in 16 minutes? And you didn't play all 16 minutes?
No, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
All right. Well, still, in 16 minutes. I think the highest score is in 25.
Yeah.
But they didn't get 8 rebounds.
Best stat line, I think.
Yeah.
And it was like 2 assists, 2 steals, a block maybe.
And to lock in the championship.
Yeah. Well, you're just throwing in random stats there, but yeah, no. It was, the boys like Nick and everyone else putting me in situations to just lay the ball up. They're pretty boring highlights, to be fair, so I was just putting the ball in the rim close.
Finds a good position though, doesn't he, Phil?
It does, yeah. Johnny on the spot, gets to the right place all the time. It's hard to teach that. You either have that or you don't.
He's called you Johnny on the spot a few times actually this season.
Yeah.
You noticed that?
Yeah.
You know what that means, eh?
Oh, just always in the right area.
Yeah. Johnny on the spot.
Yeah,
Pretty self-explanatory. What was it like? Was there, I guess, what was that? You had like 25 minutes in between games, or was it like heading back into the sheds? The starting five waiting for you? Was there at least a couple of minutes of celebration?
Yeah, right after the game, obviously, we had celebrations, hugging each other, all that. And then when we got into the locker room, there was a few chahoos and
nice.
Whatnot. But then, yeah, we quickly turned our heads to the main game.
You had to get it done without the Glacier as well, because he started the game, Ernie Kerr.
Yeah. So
couldn't play rapidly. And they had a couple of big boys. I was looking for a bit of Snow on Glacier action as well for the wordplay on Riley Snow, but that didn't happen, obviously. But they had some big boys, Aston, for you to contend with. The big Connor Cole and Riley Snow.
Yep. I mean, Adam came in and done a great job as well, and I think for us it was more just using our speed compared to them. Like they were, tall timber, but they don't move the legs as quick as we do. So, yeah, just getting up the floor, being faster, playing full court pressure, and it paid off, I think.
Nick, how have you enjoyed the Rapid League generally as a concept? You were with the Giants last year, obviously one of the younger members of the team, a few minutes here and there last year. So this year, Rapid League, suddenly your minutes have gone up on both games. Yeah. Have you enjoyed it as a concept?
Yeah. No, I've really enjoyed it. A few people have asked me what I think of the Rapid League, and I love it. It's an awesome innovation, and it really helps put confidence into young guys and even just bench guys as well. And it's also just super fun playing a whole nother league and focusing on getting right with the bench dudes, with the bench mob. So yeah, I've really loved it. Yeah.
Same for you, Asto?
Yeah, I mean, last year I probably wouldn't even made the Rapid League team when I was at the Saints. Like that team was pretty many stars in that team. Yeah. But I don't know, you kind of get warmed up too, ready for the main game as well, which is good. But yeah, I don't know, it's just good chemistry, all these getting it done.
Did you like the idea when you first heard it, Nick? Or were you a bit I don't know, or were you always on board from the start? You're like, I'm getting minutes.
Yeah, well, I didn't actually expect to play Rapid League, but when I thought I was going to play, I really liked it because I assumed that I wouldn't play much in the main game.
Yeah.
So just knowing that I had guaranteed minutes in the Rapid League, I was quite excited about that.
I think you two are prime examples, and that's one of the reasons you're right here sitting with us, timing wise, after the championship, of people, Phil, who earned minutes in the Sales NBL game based on their form in the Rapid League.
Yeah, I think it's 100% right. it's a real, what I've noticed is the level of confidence across the board with all the players that are playing in that Rapid League. They just seem a little bit more settled when they get into the main games. And I think, Nick, for you in particular, you've really leapt forward big time after playing in the Rapid League from the start of the season, then going and then getting moved into starting 5 for a period of time, and then you just look settled, look comfortable. Aston, you always look settled. Don't seem to be rattled too much. But yeah, I think it's really cool, and it showed. I think it also showed for Hayden. Hayden started the season in the starting 5 in Sal's NBL, and I think he got a little bit rattled by that. And then going back to the Rapid League, completely different person.
Yeah.
In an environment where he felt comfortable, and so I think it's a really good platform for these guys to be starting their careers. Some of the guys are ending their careers, but it's a pretty cool concept, and it's gone really well.
It must make a big difference, right? When you, instead of starting the game staring at Corey Webster, you're starting the game staring at someone that you would have played a few times, maybe at school nationals or under 20s or whatever. It must make a massive difference to your confidence.
Yeah,
you just know, I can take him, or I can guard him. I have done it before, as opposed to 100-time tall black, for an 18, 19-year-old. That's completely fair enough. It's been fun to watch. We've loved it. It looks like you guys have your own little team culture as well. Like the Rapids, you guys get called, right? Is there a little bit of...
The Rapidos.
The Rapidos. Oh, okay.
Rapidos.
Yeah, Rapidos.
You don't want to say that. You don't want to say that.
Rapidos.
Really make sure you get your inflection right on that one.
Yeah. Especially when Sammy D's playing toes.
With the mo.
Yeah, I know. He's actually one of the guys that's kind of come to terms with playing in the Rapid too. Like, at the start, he's like, it's such a terrible...
16th year.
Such a terrible idea.
Yeah.
It's just for the youngins. And then he's like, yep, and the Rapids and all that kind of stuff, and he's getting warmed up for the game, doing his thing.
What I want to know, start of the season, the Giants NBL teams 0-3, Rapid League's 3-0. How much trash talk is going on? How often do you guys play against each other, Rapid League versus starting 5 in practice? Surely there's a bit of that going.
Every time, every training.
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't much because we know that every single one of them could probably, kill us one-on-one.
And you want the Giants.
It was a bit of a sore subject
team
too.
to win.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, obviously that too.
They're probably jealous. Couldn't be involved in the Rapidos.
Fun.
Yeah,
To be fair,
it was all fake smiles.
Our Rapido team sometimes beats the starters, and we trash talk after
good.
that. So, yeah.
Well, there used to be, I don't know if it was during your time, Phil. I mean, to be fair, you've played more than half the seasons for the Giants, so I've got an over 50% chance it was. They're like the yellow squad. Are you aware of this? Have you guys heard of this?
Like
the yellow squad?
Like the third?
Yeah, it was like the third string, as it were, in training would be the yellow squad. And they'd cause a few upsets throughout the year and really fire up the starters and stuff. So not even the starters, not in the next 5 would be I guess it would be like the James Matthews of the world, right? Who that kind of level that's still at school or just out of school and used to be called the yellow squad because they'd have to wear a yellow bib because they reverse the balls, you need another set. And they used to cause a fair few upsets and things used to get a bit heated when the yellow squad were on form.
Yeah, we did that for a bit actually.
This
we
year?
had the 5 guys put on a yellow bib and they were on offense and then we'd play defense as scout. So
so the yellow, that's right, that's a key piece of information I'm missing. They'd come in as they would have played as the opposition essentially, right? Played the system that the opposition played.
And when they scored on us, then they made sure to let us know.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
that's great. Love that. I remember when I was a young, fresh-faced, very handsome journalist at TV3, I used to cover the Breakers, and I'd go along and guaranteed once a session there'd be just a full-on fight. And normally
Mika was involved.
Well, normally Dylan and Mika were right in the heart of it. Often Tom Abercrombie getting picked on by Dylan or something like that, and would just get angry and lose his cool, and there'd be a bit of push and shove, and then almost always it'd end up with Dylan pulling Tom's shirt singlet over his head, and then him just running around real angry. Yeah. So anyway, it's not a bad thing, is it, Phil? Bit of angst at training, as long as it's in a competitive way.
Yeah, I think it's needed. You got to create that competitiveness. Nenad Vucinic was the master of that. Just let guys play and not calling fouls in training, and it starts to get little bit chippy, and then he'd start digging in and making a few comments. And yeah, it's good. It's a good way to get that nature that you play on the court into a practice environment.
You know what I've done? You know what you've done, Phil? You've gone and talked about the Rapidly for so long, you've tried to distract me from Name That Giant. No, I've actually got a real easy Name That Giant for you today. All three of you should get this, so it should be a race.
Oh, okay.
Name that giant. I'll read out the career. Don't look at my screen, Esther.
Is this like we take turns guessing, or?
Oh, just yell.
Yeah.
Read out the career of a current or former Nelson Giant.
Let's take turns, and I'll go first, and you can't have a turn until I've had my turn.
Okay, are we ready? I'm going to have to go quick, so I think you're going to get it pretty quick. Auckland Tuatara, New Zealand Breakers, Franklin Bulls, Nelson Giants.
Fotu.
Dan Fotu, yeah. Damn it.
Nice, Nick.
I gave him a chance.
Phil
I
didn't
thought you
get
were going
that.
to start with St. Mary's there.
No, I never start with the college because
enough,
it
yeah.
normally gives it away too quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice, Nick. Phil, you're the only one who didn't say Dan Fotu.
Well, there's no point saying it after I both said it. Flotu.
Duly noted. Let's get on to some other issues, shall we? We can't seem to win at the Trafalgar Centre at the moment in the Sales NBL game. 2-7. Haven't won at home since round 4, which was against the Jets. I think we beat the Tuatara in round 1 or 2. So she's been a while between us calling a win, Phil, and the Sales NBL.
2-7 is crazy when you think about where the Giants are sitting on the ladder.
We're 6, and we'll talk a little about this a little bit later. But we're still very much in the box seat for that final playoff spot. Yet we're 2-7 at home. What's going on?
I don't know what's going on. Like, watching the Giants play on the road, they're a championship-winning caliber team, right? Come home, I don't know whether there's just a heightened pressure from sellout crowds, or maybe they don't like the rims or the gym or what it is. I just there's been games. Probably the game of the season I thought was against the Rams, where that could have gone either way.
Great game. Yeah.
But there's definitely, I think, an element of once you start to lose a few at home, that pressure just keeps building and it becomes more difficult. Where you look at the Rapid League team, they've won all their games at home, I think. But
Taranaki with those
Taranaki game
3.5 Tall Blacks playing the Hawks.
stacked their team. But I think it's probably just now it's more of a mental challenge than capability. Just need to get that next W at home, and that will lock everything in for the playoffs.
Yeah, because there's no change to game day routine, Nick, from last year, is there?
Nah, it's very similar. We had the same warm up just before the Rapid League. So it hasn't really changed that much.
And then during the game, like shoot around wise, nothing changed since last year at home, mate.
Nah.
Like, I can semi-understand it if you're like Sam, right? Because when Sam Dempster, when he's on the road to do one thing, play basketball, he's locked in. When he's at home, he's got 3 kids. He's got half of Nelson College texting him about when their next training is. And, so like I can see if we had a team full of dads with full-time jobs trying to play, home and away would be different. But we don't really. It's really only Sam who's in that situation with kids and stuff like that, and wanting to go home and see his family before he goes to the game and all that kind of stuff. It's just a little bit baffling.
I remember listening to Ingy talk about it in his podcast, where he said that even the Giants talked about staying the night
at a hotel.
At a hotel, the night before the game, so it gives them that feel of actually being on the road, just to try and get something different
to replicate
going on.
Because it's normally the other way around.
Yeah.
In my other role with the Mako, last year they won every game at home and only won one away. So we've been talking about in the off season, what can we do on the road to make it feel more like a home game, or make your routine different, but tough one to figure out when you can't win at home.
Very tough.
Hopefully that changes this Friday. We'll talk about the Southland Sharks now, the Southland Sharks game. Obviously no Theo Akruba. Theo Akruba has gone home. If you're not up to date with that news, it will be out by now. So he went home on Monday morning, obviously didn't play on Sunday night. He's gone home for personal reasons. Now normally when you read an import has gone home for personal reasons, if you're a fan of the basketball league and you've been around for a while, you jump to they've been cut, they've got in trouble, whatever. while we can't say why Theo's gone home, because it is genuine personal reasons, we can categorically say that it is genuine personal reasons. The club is fully behind him. He has not been cut. He has not been let go for any misdemeanor or misbehaviour. He's got some personal stuff to sort out, and we're wholeheartedly behind him as a club, and wish him all the very best, and we'll be in touch with him going forward. But timing-wise, and like I say, we're 100% behind Theo, so there's no ill will whatsoever. But unfortunately, it had to happen just as 7'1" Big Cow rolled into town for the Southland Sharks. Former Giant, of course, Big Cow, popular member of the Giants as well last year, lovely man, and just happened to put on the performance of the season from anyone in any team, didn't it?
Yeah, he was exceptional, and I think maybe a little bit of motivation too to come into, obviously playing for the Giants last year, come into town and play well. And man, did he play well? He was tough.
Tough for Ernie. As we said on commentary, Phil, we're stoked for Ernie. Super hardworking guy on and off the court. Another real popular member of the team, and still young. Gets the first start. He's got to look after flipping Man Mountain, and then Sammy D when he had to, and Asto, you had to go on. What's it like? Just like halfway up his back, loving him, eh?
Yeah, there's not much you can do about him really. There'll be some times where I'll try and push him under the basket too, and he's just like he's heavy as well. So he's Man Mountain. Because
the knock on Cal, I guess, throughout a little bit through his collegiate career and since then, has been his fitness, right, and his mobility around the court. And I think, just personally, my thoughts on him earlier in the season, I know the Sharks weren't playing well at all, was still hampering him a little bit, but obviously he's played a lot of minutes and he seems to be moving pretty well and pretty good fitness. And when he's moving well and playing well, his touch is so good for a big man, eh? And 11 assists, 21 rebounds, 20 points. It's phenomenal. As guard, Nick, just watching, there's not much you can do about the 7'1" guy doing this. It's just kind of what do you do in that situation?
Yeah. You just got to, I guess you got to live with him taking the shots you want. I don't think we did a very good job taking away cutters. And, he has really good vision. For a 7'1" guy, his vision's incredible. So I think we, gave him too many opportunities to pass the ball and set up other guys, which he did a really good job at. And the other guys did a really good job finishing. They hit a lot of threes as well. So
Braden Inga got to that spot and he ran the free throw line and made a couple of those are shots you don't normally mind giving up, a little cheeky mid range, but he made 3 or 4 of them. Yeah.
So
tried a bit of everything on him, right? There was a bit of double team fill, and then he would just find an open man, and then I guess the most success came when he just let him just go one-on-one with whoever it was, and he had no one to pass to, and he had to try and score, but still got 20 points.
Yeah, he had a lot of time on his hands, mainly because we didn't have the height to match his height and potentially take away his vision that way, which obviously Theo would have been, or even Dan Fotu would have been, good to help in that situation. Double team action happened, and it just probably wasn't maybe aggressive enough, or you couldn't get him to turn to the baseline to get his vision away from the centre of the court. Yeah. And he was just picking guys apart, picking the team apart with passes, because he could just pass over everybody. You could see the intent from the Giants was from the get-go to push the pace and just see where they could get to with maybe either getting him into foul trouble or making him tired. But his fitness looks like it's at another level, and he just continued to sort of be there all night and get up and down the floor fine. Got a few rests in there, but he was very good.
He played well, and it led to what I called a headmaster's timeout on the commentary. Talk us through, you two, right in the middle of it. What's it like when Fitch calls it? Sometimes Fitch calls a timeout and you just know you're in trouble, right?
Yeah.
Because of the way he yells timeout at Tom Ingham's mum on the bench. And then when you see him walking away from the bench and he's on the court, you're just ooh, here we go. Yeah. So the rules in the NBL are, to catch, if you don't know, if you call a timeout, normal timeout, sit on the bench, the camera is allowed in, and some games a microphone if they're on hand. If you call a timeout and the coach stands up and the whole team stands up, cameras and microphones aren't allowed in. Not that it really mattered because we could all hear Fitch on on Sunday night. What's the feeling, Aston, when you're walking towards that timeout?
Oh, we weren't walking towards.
Yeah.
He stormed straight out to us, and yeah, you kind of know you're in trouble. Yeah, you just got to kind of put your head down, but also let him know that you're locked into what he's saying, and do what he says. Pretty much. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I was on the bike, and he called the timeout, and he stormed onto the court, and I was like, oh no. That was my first.
Try and cycle it there.
Yeah. Hopped off the bike, sprint in, but you have to be real locked in. I feel like when Fitch does something like that, he obviously always has a good message.
Yeah.
And if you're not gonna go out on the court and deliver that message, then you're in even more trouble.
You're gonna get yanked immediately, eh? Yeah. Doesn't mind the punishment sub.
The classic part of it was that the camera was zoomed in straight on Mike as he was ripping you guys.
Yeah.
All the expletives lip read by every person in New Zealand that was watching the game.
Oh, it's good TV though.
Yeah.
It's good TV. Astor, what is your history with Fitch? Because obviously you were at the Wellington Saints. Now that's because you were studying up in Victoria.
Yeah. I mean, I did a couple trainings in year 12, year 13. Just it was Greeta's first year here, and I was just kind of that young guy around the trainings.
Because you're a Garran College man who then went to Nelson College for your last year?
Yep. Yeah, that's the one. And then, so I went away. You played when I was third year at uni, I trialled for the Saints and then managed to make that. And then I was playing alright at uni basketball, and so I messaged him. Sammy D was kind of a big advocate for it. He was like, mate, just message him, see how you go, what's the worst that can come from it kind of thing. So I messaged him, in town, I'd like to give it a go. Sent him a couple film with my layups and all that kind of stuff. And he said, mate, come along to the scrimmages and the pre-season, and from there just showed a lot of effort, and that was about it.
It's paid off, Phil, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
Minutes have gone up throughout the season.
I think you got to put yourself out there every now and again to give yourself a chance. And Fitch is, I think, a guy that is really open to that and giving the younger guys an opportunity to be involved. I know that the college teams, like Waimea in particular, has had quite a few guys come through the Giants off-season training programs, and they're getting rewarded for the time, the effort they're putting into it. So it's good that Fitch is allowing those younger guys to be involved.
When you talk about Daniel Greeda and his 40-piece, obviously in a losing effort, but that's a man, Phil, who leaves it all out there.
Yeah, everything. Every little last bit of energy he has, I imagine. He must be wrecked when he gets into the locker rooms after the game, because he is... he's full on, just non-stop the whole game. And, offensively, he's just putting pressure on the rim all the time. And possibly sometimes to the detriment of the team, because he just wants it so bad. Yeah. He's just thinking about being that scorer. And, if he can get a little bit of balance into his game where potentially he is, rather than trying to score all the time, where it becomes difficult because teams are going to adjust to that and just pack the paint when he gets it. Now he becomes a distributor as well. Then he has a double-edged sword. It becomes very difficult to play against.
What's it like playing with him, Nick? Is there, people used to talk about Mecca being not dissimilar with his effort levels, maybe not trying to score as much as Greeda, but as an inspiration, the way he just left it all out there and you knew he was just giving everything for his team. Is it a little bit like that with Greeda?
Yeah. No, definitely, for sure. He's an unbelievable scorer. He's a 3-level scorer, but just seeing that effort makes you want to work as hard as him. And even with Astor, these guys like that you watch, guy like Mika, and you just want to work that hard, and it kind of inspires you in a way. But Greeda leaves everything out on the court. I think today I saw him and his hands were swollen and his knee was swollen, and he's like, I'm just getting through it, man, every week in and week out. So, yeah.
He's a fan favourite. isn't he? He's a fan favourite. And he seems very popular among the team.
Yep. Yeah, he's the loveliest dude. Like, he'll selfless really. He'll be there for anyone. He says hi to everyone, introduces himself just like Dan.
Yeah.
He's great.
Any thoughts on your hair going the same way as his hair?
Well, it was actually like that. It was.
You used to have hair like that?
I used to have like a mullet.
Yeah.
I dyed it all blonde and all that kind of stuff.
Did ya?
Yeah.
This is in Wellington?
Yeah, second year Wellington.
Same.
Yeah. Kind of fit the Wellington vibe actually.
Yeah,
a wee bit. But yeah, like I enjoyed it. But yeah, probably not me anymore. I think I'll keep it the length it is now. Yeah.
Looks good, mate. Looks good.
Cheers.
Right, so I'm going to try and turn around the home form and lock in a spot in the playoffs this Friday night at the Trafalgar Centre. 6:30 Rapid League. Victory lap, if anything. A little victory lap, Rapid League victory lap in front of the home fans, but still important to get the points for and against up. Given how tight it is on the table, so we're currently sitting 6th, we're 8 and 10. 2 teams can catch us, the Phi and the Hawks. Now, the Phi play the Saints away tonight as you're listening, if you're listening on Wednesday. So Wednesday night they play the Saints away, and the Hawks play the Bulls away on Thursday night. So there's a world in which we're pretty much locked in before we even take the court on Friday. Won't be definite because of maths. Like the Hawks can still, even if they lose, the Hawks have still got a chance because they've got an extra game. But it's going to have to be like a 70-point swing for that to happen. So really the Hawks and the Phi need to win their remaining games, and we need to lose, and there needs to be a pretty big swing in there points-wise to not be in the top 6. However, we don't talk about it like that. We want to talk about it being under our control. Go get the win Friday night against the Nuggets. This is a Nuggets team, Phil, that has seemingly not thrown in the towel, but definitely thrown in the towel over the past few weeks. Like, I don't know what's going on there. They've lost like a lot of games in a row, like 11 or something out of their last 13.
Yeah, they've had quite a bit of disruption in their team over the season with players coming in and out, and Ty Webster was there for a bit, and then
that was a turning point, right? When he went and had his child. Congratulations, Ty.
Nance, he got injured, and so he's out. Henshaw took off over to Australia for the Aussie Boomers. So there's been a bit of up and down, with those guys, and probably lacking a little bit of consistency. So I imagine that makes it quite difficult to play when you kind of don't know where points are coming from. Obviously Henshaw offers a lot to that team. I imagine he'll be there on Friday because I think all of the Boomers guys are back now.
Well, the Airs had their 2 back.
Yeah.
Mitch McCarron and Samson Froling.
Yeah. And I think he was a problem for the Giants the last time you guys played against them down there. He played really well. So, yeah, it's a possibly a team that's still fighting for a playoff spot, but if they're not, then they've got nothing to lose, right? So nothing to lose. So what do they do when they come in and play in the Trafalgar Centre? They'll probably just be happy to come in here and just go for it, which is that's a dangerous game for the Giants, particularly when there's pressure on the Giants to actually get a win to make sure they secure that spot. So, yeah, no pressure, fellas.
So there's just a little bit of recent history between the Nuggets and the Giants. Let me take you back to 2022, Jared West year, right?
Yep.
And we played them in the semi-final. It was a good game. The Nuggets went and won the championship, deservedly won that game. Todd Withers and friends played a great game. But their coach, Brent Matahaide, who's, we all know he's a bit of a character around the league, I just remember him storming down the touchline. Oh, was he giving it to the Giants bench or something? He was yelling quite loudly in victory. It didn't go down too well with the Giants players who were there and coach who was there and remember it well. So I think that's always on the mind whenever we take on the Nuggets since that time.
I think I may be wrong, but he mentioned something about Fitch getting Coach of the Year.
That's right. Fitch had won. The Giants have won a whole heap of awards.
Yes.
Jared West has got Defensive Player, made the All-Star 5. Fitch has got Coach of the Year. The Giants got Club of the Year, Best Socials.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they'd all been handed out just before tip-off. Because that's kind of what happened in the NBL at the time. And then the game went the way it went. And
Yeah.
And it's fresh on the mind still, a couple of years later, which is great. I love that. I absolutely love that stuff in sport.
Yeah.
You know, it's great fun for fans to just something crazy like that and just let it really affect how you feel about another city. It's awesome. There's a bit of news around the league we should talk about because it will affect the Giants. So after we play and beat the Nuggets, I'm Mr. Positive on the podcast. I'll leave the negativity to Phil. We then go up to Taranaki. Now, really good chance, as I mentioned on last week's episode, that we have to play Taranaki back-to-back in the season, and then in the play-in game, essentially a quarterfinal, but the play-in game straight 3 days afterwards, given that they're third on the table, unlikely to come second. The Saints can catch them, so it could be Wellington, but let's just say it's Taranaki. Mitch McCarron. Do you know the latest on Mitch McCarron, Phil? Have you read or heard that? We saw him limp off, or be carried off the court the other night, which, I mean, I hope he's fine, as you know, for the Breakers' sake and for Mitch's sake, but didn't look too flash, right? A knee or an ankle or something, right? Hot off the press today is that Samson Froling, I know he's called Sam, but Samson's such a cool name.
Yeah.
But Samson Froling has gone to Summer League. He's gone. He's left New Zealand already. He's been named in the Indiana Pacers Summer League team.
Awesome.
Awesome for him. Awesome for Taranaki years. That's great. But it means that they've lost two of their best players.
Yeah.
At this point of the season. Potentially, I don't know what the latest on McCarron is. And suddenly, you kind of go, well, because before those two leaving or being out, you'd say the Airs away is a flipping hard game.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of people are tipping them to win the title. I tipped them at the start of the year alongside the Tuatara. But without those two, it makes it a little bit interesting, Phil.
Yeah, it does. And
Dan Fotu's back. That's another thing we've got to mention about Otago. Dan's back.
Flynn Cameron's back for them as well, though.
Yep.
But again, both those guys are back off a very long trip back from, where are they? Greece? Where are they playing?
They've been in Finland and somewhere else.
Somewhere in Europe.
Poland.
Yeah. Flying all over the place for their limit qualifier tournament. But, yeah, They struggled a bit with the Rams. Obviously, the Rams are juggernaut of the NBL at the moment, rolling, winning all these games in a row. But the Rams went up there and really gave them a bit of a touch-up, to be fair. So, they'll be pretty motivated to get back on track. But losing two massive key components at this time of the year, and question mark around McCarron, hopefully he's okay. I'd like to see him continue to play.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah, he's a heck of a player. Yeah. But Froling is going to be massive for them because, we saw how it affected us with no Theo this weekend. If you take out a bit of size in a unit, it can be a real problem. But playing the Taranaki in
Phil gets in trouble
Taranaki,
if he says the Naki on TV.
It's going to be tough for the Giants. But Giants got a heck of a road record this year, so
Also, the last 2 years, we mentioned that Nuggets team who didn't make the top two. The last 2 years, the final have been from teams outside the top two. So that momentum makes a big difference. Like, you come into the playoffs with a couple of wins in a row, and then you get another one in the play, and all of a sudden you're playing a team that's had a break of number 1 or 2, and you've got momentum. So it could be real interesting. And obviously, if we do win that play-in game, it would set up a likely semi-final with the Canterbury Rams, who, as I said in commentary, are hotter than a blue movie on a cold night. And we nearly beat them anyway. And who doesn't like beating Canterbury?
They're going to be a tough team to beat this year, I think, the Rams.
Right, we're waffling in a good way. I absolutely love it. But we're going to move on and talk about a couple of other things. We're going to go a little bit local and Whakatū focus, thanks to our friends at MBS. And Phil, we've had a great weekend at the Tasman Cup, haven't we?
Yeah, I did. I had a good weekend playing golf. I didn't really do much in the way of Tasman Cupping. But
is this the most Phil Jones thing ever, right? We all go down to the Tasman Cup, Waimea Night Riders, and a few other teams from Nelson, but most importantly the Waimea Night Riders, of which Phil was a long time part of. We don't win, and he goes and wins a golf tournament. So the only one actually come back with a trophy is Phil, who didn't even play basketball.
Congrats.
Don't know, thanks. I don't know how it happened, but yeah.
Yeah. But great weekend. Thanks to West Coast Basketball. Put an awesome event. How good's the facility in Greymouth, eh? You guys played there in the preseason. That's what it was like. For club battlers like me, like, what a cool place to go play a bit of basketball, you know? It was so much fun. Didn't win, though.
No, you
Congrats.
forgot to mention I won about 178 games of pool in a row as well
You did win
at the Union.
A lot of pool.
And,
Yeah.
and down plenty of beers too, was it?
179 beers.
yeah.
Yeah, a few big nights. We'd like to, contribute to the local economy when we're down the West Coast. Congrats to ABC, another Nelson team, got the win, led by young Rico Verricchio,
Yeah,
who's at Nelson College,
he played well.
and his dad Carlo, former Giant. They got the win, and it was just a really good weekend. Stoke Bears, noticeable by their absence, noticeable by their cowardly absence, weren't down there. I happened to be sitting next to a couple of Stoke Bears. Haven't got the depth.
We had prior engagements.
Yeah, 3 Stoke Bears play for the Giants.
You mean the Stoke Giants?
Yeah.
Hey.
No, it was a great weekend, so I have to shout out the West Coast. And you know what? A lot of folks down there loving the podcast, which was really cool. A lot of West Coast. It's Giants country down there.
Yeah.
So shout out to those fellas who listen to the podcast. Absolutely awesome weekend with you guys. Other things you need to mention, Phil, are the boys playing under-17 basketball at the World Cup.
Yeah.
How good? 2-0 as we speak. When's the next game?
They play tomorrow. Well, they would have played by the time the podcast is out.
Yeah.
Italy, 5 a.m. Wednesday morning.
You've been eyes on every game, obviously, because you're proud dad.
I have. Yep.
And how are Hayden and James going? James Matthews, Hayden Jones?
They're both going really well. Like, the team is going great. Standouts, Oscar Goodman has been very good both games. Troy Plumtree has been very good both games. Hayden Jones, from a scoring stats perspective, but there's been input from everybody in the group, and James Matthews is just coming out and being, as he is, a pest on defence. And I reckon he would be the team's best on-ball defender, and he's really making it tough for other guards and opposition teams.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And to be 2-0, so wins over Turkey, it's got a little bit niggly, didn't it?
Got niggly towards the end, but
Weren't happy, the
unbelievable margin they got
Yeah.
out to. They were out to 40 at one stage against
The hosts
Turkey in
Went back to
Turkey.
sleep.
Did you?
Yeah.
turned it off.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I was still awake, just quietly.
Yeah.
And then Argentina, which is a big win. That's a massive basketball nation.
Yeah.
To get a win over any age grade over Argentina is huge. And then Italy to come. So best of luck to Hayden and James, because they've got bigger fish to fry when they get back, don't they, Phil? Straight into the
sure do.
national under-18
true.
representative.
Yeah.
Probably
What's up, Aston? You all right? You don't think it's a big fish?
That's a huge fish, mate.
Probably put it up there
Catch.
a little bit higher than the under-17 world champs. To be
Yeah,
honest.
exactly.
Looking back-to-back championships.
Yeah. Lot on the line.
Yeah, we are looking to go back to back. Obviously, Phil, head coach, me, assistant to the head coach, with the under-18s with Nelson. Won it last year. Hayden and James, the only 2 players returning. Everyone else gone up to play under-20s with you, Nicky D. Top 4 finish.
Yeah.
Which was good.
I think we should have won it. We had a few little sicknesses in the group.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, that's
so-
right. But a gastro went through,
Yeah.
which is no good.
But,
Yeah.
what if? Yes.
Well, we'll try and right the wrongs with next
Please.
week in Wellington. What it does leave me questioning is this podcast next week, because we're going to be in Wellington. So we might look for a couple of guest hosts. And there's a couple of Giants who live together who I might put it to. What do you reckon about Ingham Greedo guest hostage of G.I.Antics? Could be dangerous.
Could be very dangerous.
Very entertaining.
Could break some broadcast laws, but I'm going to ask them anyway. So watch this space for the podcast next week. It could just be an audio-only one from Wellington, Phil and I, or I might see if I can get a couple of the Giants to be guest hosts and have a bit of fun with it. We're going to finish with Shot Clock. Okay?
This is my favourite part of the show because
Appreciate
I'm not involved.
Explain it, Phil.
24 seconds to name as many of the things based on the list that or the category that Hugh gives you. I'm completely
Succinctly put.
stumbling around. Still weekend recovery for weekend. Let's start again. 24 seconds, get a category, name as many as you can.
Okay, and don't look at my screen.
Yeah, so
Aston.
keep your eyes on me, mate.
Okay.
Right, this is a team effort from both of you, okay?
We'll go 1 for 1. Oh, we'll just
Just shout 'em out.
Yeah, shout them out.
Okay.
As many of the top 10 scorers in the Sky Broadband Rapid League as you can. Go.
Drew Leo, Hayden
Kaya,
Jones.
Isaac.
Yep. Hayden Jones, me, I think, maybe.
Mm.
Who
Ben
else?
Hall.
Nico Hill.
Who's the scorer?
Who else was on that list?
Tyson from the
Tyson.
Saints.
Yeah, Kaz.
Yeah,
Should've-
Kaz, yeah. Connor Cole.
Oh, did it get Connor Cohen?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bardsley.
absolutely.
6.
Six. I had like 8.
You had 8. Who else you
I
got?
don't think I'm in the top 10.
No, they had 6.
So,
I
they
didn't count
got-
the ones they didn't get right.
Oh, okay. Ones that
Yeah,
got right,
don't just say a name and get a point. You've got to be correct.
yeah.
Julio Losongapi, you said, from the Franklin Bulls.
He's number 1.
He's number 1. I'm reading them in order now. Tetuhi Lewis. You didn't say. Real potential
Sorry.
most improved player action there, I reckon, for Tetuhi, potentially. Nico Hill
We got that.
from the Edge, you got that. Josh Aitchison from the New Guas. Connor Cole on the buzzer.
Yeah, we'll take that.
Ben Hall, you got. Kai Isaac, you got. Didn't get Tobias Cameron. You didn't get Ringamadia Dugomita. And you did get Nick Davidson.
Hayden?
You're 10th. No, Hayden, this isn't
total
points per game.
points.
This is total points because Hayden's
missed a few games.
So Hayden's now 13th. Tyson Thatapayese is 11th.
Yeah,
So,
So what did we get?
top leader.
you got 6.
We got 6.
Connor Cole on the buzzer gives you 6.
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10 is not too
Not
bad.
bad.
Yeah,
Good job, man.
Yeah.
good job, guys.
Combined effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah.
So you got 3 each. You got 3 out of 10.
Thanks for coming on, lads. Really appreciate it. Congratulations on the Rapid League win. Hopefully we can celebrate that and another one at the end of the season. Top 6, looking to lock it in this Friday night at the Trafalgar Centre. 6:30 tip-off. Rapid League 7:30 against the New Guas in the Sales NBL. We will see you there, and hopefully next week there might be a couple of guest hosts here on G.I.Antics as Phil and I head up to Wellington with some kids looking to win a championship.